Today I was originally hoping that this overcast layer would be breaking up around sunset, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. So instead, I think I'm just going to practice launches and landings. It's like 42 degrees and pretty much dead calm, so that's going to be the plan for today. Let's head down to the park and get to it. Grueling 4-minute drive down to the park. So the plan is for today, I have this little spot in front of me by the soccer field that I'm going to use as the takeoff and landing strip, and I'm just going to try to take off and land as many times as possible. This is something I would totally recommend for beginners. When I started out flying, I would go up for like an hour at a time, and I would do one launch and one landing per flight. That didn't really let me build up my launch and landing skills that much, and each time I was like anxious about the launch. I think if you sit down and take one day that you're just going to do launches and landings, that would really help you improve as a beginner, because you're getting that rapid succession. So the launches are pretty self-explanatory. The landings, on the other hand, are what I'm really trying to improve on. So I think there's like 3 different ways you can land a paraglider or a paramotor or a parachute in general. The first is just coming in straight, hands up, flare, and you're on the ground. Very simple. The next way allows you to gain a little bit more energy on that landing. What you would do is hold maybe half brakes, and you have to judge the right altitude as you get closer and closer to the ground to let that out. And what happens is you pendulum under the wing and you kind of dive, gain energy. And what landing with more energy allows you to do is basically just come in faster, have a more powerful flare, and it's just fun to do. Now the third way is what I'm going to be doing today, and it's basically like a hook turn. It's doing, in this case, a 90-degree turn on your final approach as you get closer to the ground. But it gives you a lot more flexibility, and it's a lot more complicated adding that turn in. Yeah, in a minute. It's so much fun though. Construction workers waiting to watch me fly. I think a perfect turn is where you weight shift the turn, nice and smooth, gradual, and as you come out of that turn, you perfectly plane out across the ground. Hands go up, you foot drag for 20-30 feet, and then you start your flare and run it out. So that's what I'm going to be aiming for. I'm going to get set up. I might end up putting this camera out in the field in a little bit to film some of them, but I'm not going to leave it on the ground right now because there's a lot of people here. So what do you say we get to it? Let's go for it. Alrighty mates, so as you can see here, I have my wing laid out there, and this is going to be my little takeoff strip. And if everything goes right, I'm going to make my hook turn right, come in here and across the field and end up probably over there somewhere. Now, I got some construction worker dudes that I was talking to before, those guys over there. They wanted to see me fly, so I'm probably just going to buzz around low real quick, show them what's up, and then I'll come in for my landings. Rad. It smells like perfume over here. Now that I have an audience, I really can't botch this. Don't hit that rebar. Side dudes. They're all filming on their phones. I'm gonna get a little altitude, I'll do a couple barrel rolls, and then we'll start with the landings. Alright, that's hopefully just enough altitude to not kill myself. Alrighty, so the idea is, now that my engine's dead, I'm fully committed to making my target. I'm gonna do this one trims in, and hopefully I'll be able to show you guys later as I trim out. Things will get a little bit faster, a little more energy. Now I'm just gonna keep an eye on my spot and try to fly a pattern that puts me at the right
position at the right altitude, keeping in mind that I have a little bit of wind. That looks a little bit high, so I'm going to hold some brakes, weave it in a little bit, come out of my harness, and give that little hook turn, flatten out, slide it in. All right, number one. All right, so that wasn't the best. I was a little bit high, so I had to do a little weaving maneuver to get down. Solid landing nonetheless. Alrighty, nice little ride up to altitude. Gonna keep weight shifting left to bring myself over the park. And now, this time, as you can see, I have my trims out to 5. Also, this time, thinking ahead, I'm gonna move my landing target to the next field over, so my takeoff, I don't have to backtrack. With the trims out, I'll have more energy, more speed, come in a little bit faster. All right, Mike. So now I'm looking at the corner of this soccer field. So I'm gonna do a little bit of a weave. There we go. That was a good one. That grass is super wet. Now this is just sort of, I don't want to say opinion, but based on my own experience, if you're doing a turn like that, you can do it slow and steady and just milk that energy out, or you can do like an abrupt, hard hook turn and throw that energy in, sort of pendulum thereafter. In my experience, doing it slow, steady, consistent allows you to gain more energy. Some situations, if you don't set it up perfectly, all you're kind of left with is having to do that abrupt maneuver, which is okay. I think after this, I'll go set up my camera, try to get one on film. Alrighty, got our altitude, and I'm doing this one trimmed out to 5 again. I don't think I've ever landed this wing trims out past 5. Maybe we'll do that on the next one. I'm going to try to do it same field there so I can set my camera up on the next one. Last 2 I ended up a little bit high, so I'm going to keep that in mind. Try to be nice and consistent in the turn on this one. This wing does not want to come down when it's trimmed out. That was a good one. With the trims out this far, I don't think I'm even taking advantage of the full potential of the energy. I feel like if I had more ground below me, I could have come down even farther and gained more energy. I'm going to set my wing up over there. I'm going to set my camera here. And I'm going to aim to take off towards the camera and then land towards the camera. All right, so this one, the wind picked up a little bit, and it's a direct crosswind from the left to the right now. We'll make it work. It ain't no thing if it ain't no thing. Got a little bit of a cross tailwind, very minor, but it's present. And wet grass. I'm gonna aim right for the camera and try not to hit it. Now that there's no one here, I can totally fly around wherever I want. Yeah. Radical! Let me see if I can show you guys real quick without killing my engine, just going in for a foot drag. Just like that. Flatten out. Bam. Wham bam. Thank you, ma'am. There we go. Not bad, not bad. Here's the other thing. If you want to try to practice landings, of course you want to actually land and flare fully and get on the ground without even doing a touch and go, like coming to a complete stop. But if you're trying to practice the swooping motion of holding brakes and letting it out, or a turn like this, you can just sit here all day and practice that turn without actually landing. And the other cool thing is you can bring yourself right to the perfect position that you need to be with the power. So you don't get the accuracy, but you get a feel for what the turn should feel like. Like that. So I'll show you guys the other method I was talking about, method 2 of holding brakes and letting go. So in this method, you would find yourself sort of on a long final, coming in for your landing, and we'll get lined up, holding brakes like this, and at about this altitude, let it out, the wing dives, you can flatten it out if you need to. Looks like enough altitude, trims out. Let's be risky biscuits and bring them out to number 6. Never done this one before, and I struggle with my freaking throttle. There we go. Okay, I'm going to hold my brakes up high for this one, so I have maximum flare authority. Hopefully I don't botch this. This is gonna come in super freaking hot. And the grass is really freaking wet. But I'm feeling risky biscuits. Looking good, looking good. This is perfect. Oh, look at that dive. Woo! Dude, that was perfect. That's what you aim for. Bada bing. Alright, so if anything, now the wind's coming this way, which would have given me a tailwind, but I set up to go the other way. I'd rather land with a slight tailwind than take off with a slight tailwind. That little bit of wind makes all the difference. Check out the flag. Now it's totally blowing that way. So I have 2 options. I can either land downwind or upwind. I think landing trims out to 6 downwind would be a horrible idea. I've been using the hill over here just to judge consistent altitude. I get myself above that hill and then kill the engine. And very quickly attempt to stow my throttle while weight shifting a left turn and letting my trims out simultaneously. Okay, we're gonna go to 6 again, but I'm not gonna land it downwind. Okay, that's 6 and 6. Let's get back on course. I'm gonna go for a left-hand turn this time into the wind. It's a little wonky up here. Something's happening with the wind. I'm gonna aim to kind of come over the camera, I guess. This one might be a little more than 90 degrees. That's never a bad thing. As long as I don't bust my ass. Looking high. Oh, so much energy. So gingerly. Fucking wing. The damn thing chases me, dude. Zoop, zoop.
rad. So I think that's all I'm gonna do for now. I think that was 5 total landings. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you like this tutorial-esque style of things. Maybe I can do more on different topics. Other than that, get out there if you're a paramotor pilot, practice your landings and takeoffs, because it's fun. If you've watched till this point, hit that like button and subscribe if you have not yet. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.
Best one of the night. Yeah, buddy.